You're listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. If you miss any of the program, you can find the podcast at the bottom of the page at sunnyradio.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour on a Monday. We've got some special stuff going on this week. I want to remind you, this Friday is the final day to get registered for the Cancun giveaway with RadioTravelGroup.com and The Sands. Now, The Sands is a 5-day all-inclusive vacation. It's at a place called Planet Hollywood Beach Resort in Cancun, Mexico, and it is a ton of fun. My wife and I have gone to this event for the last 7 years. It is so much fun, and we would love for you to register to win a trip for free. Now, when I say a trip for free, it's the 5 days all-inclusive, your room, the concerts with, Pat Benatar and her husband. Tiffany just signed up to be there. Who else is going to be there? A Night Ranger. The list goes on and on. A whole bunch of them. Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, Queensryche. If you'd like to see the entire list, Hadaway, the entire list is online. And then there's also actors like Michael Winslow and Andrew McCarthy, and there's many more that we'll be finding out between now and when the event happens in November. But if you want to sign up to go for free, you got to do that today because the last day to register is this Friday. So get on, sign up, register. We'll see if we can make you a big winner. Go to sunnyradio.com, find all the details, get signed up. And again, I would love to have you join us in November. It's going to be a lot of fun. Airfare's not included. You need to have a passport. Again, all of the details can be found if you go to sunnyradio.com. Coming up, we've got Brent Baker with a real estate update, and we've got This Day in Sioux Falls history is on the way as well. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour.
Do you have a credit card? Is it a pretty good one? Here's how you can tell. Take the details of your current card, the interest rates, points, and perks, and compare them for free to the available offers at bettercreditcards.com. If we can offer you a better credit card, it could save you money every month. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can still check it out at bettercreditcards.com. Do it today. bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a real estate update with Brent Baker from Clients First Group and Keller Williams Realty. Brent, how are you, sir?
Beautiful.
Glad to have you in here. We're going to talk about home inspections today. And again, this is one of those topics that I've heard of this, and I've even probably had somebody do this, but I don't really know for sure what all this covers. So when it's time to buy a home and when it's time to sell a home, this is something that's kind of an important thing, isn't it?
It really is. It fell by the wayside for a couple of years when the market was just absolutely wild and people were trying to compete to win. Home inspection kind of fell by the wayside for a little bit.
So when they were making offers, they're like, no inspections, no, nothing, just we'll take it the way it is. And here's a wheelbarrow full of money.
That's exactly it. And it's a bit of a gamble. If you're a handy person or you've got family members who are very skilled, maybe not such a big risk.
So when I'm selling a home, should I be the one that gets the home inspection, or is that typically the buyer that gets a home inspection, or does it not matter?
It can be done either way. It's nice if the home seller will do one and then they've learned a little bit about their house, maybe found some things they didn't know that needed to be addressed, and then they can address those, or they can provide an allowance for it or adjust the price accordingly. But typically we see the buyer order the inspection as a contingency of their offer.
If I'm the buyer and the seller already had a home inspection, do I trust that one, or do I say I'm going to get my own as well, or how does that work?
You should be able to trust that. Okay. Those are, most home inspectors, if not all of them in the area, are licensed and bonded. Okay. And so you should, in fact, that report is probably available. You just ask your realtor for a copy of the report.
So it's not like they said, I walked around the house and made a checklist, and it's all good.
Yeah. Nobody's going to risk their license over a few off of several $100s.
No. So when it comes to home inspection, let's talk about the process. What does that typically look like?
Well, in a typical transaction, it is a contingency of your offer. You've reached agreement on the terms, and now it's time for this contingency to be met. And so a home inspection is arranged, and the home inspector will spend 2-3 hours going through the house by themselves. They know what they want to do. They really want to do that uninterrupted.
Yeah.
And they look at a variety of issues, electrical, plumbing, so forth, whatever they can visually see, and they'll stick their head in the attic. They're not allowed to poke a hole in the wall to see if there's anything in there.
No.
And then they make a report. They've taken a number of pictures of the inside, the outside, temperature of the water heater, a variety of things that they look at. And this report is extremely detailed, and that helps the buyer know just what it is they're agreeing to purchase.
Nice.
Now, no home is perfect, just like no person is perfect. So you have to expect that some things will come up. And most sellers have a pretty fair handle on the actual condition of their home. But along the way, sometimes something serious is found.
Yeah.
And it might be a structural issue, and it might be simply that things are a little older than you anticipated as far as the mechanicals. Hopefully you noticed that when you were looking at the home before you wrote the offer, but if the furnace is getting older, the water heater is getting older, the AC is getting older, you might want to negotiate something for that. So
when you're doing this, is it typically the homeowner that's getting the inspection or whoever's doing the financing? And are there times where the people doing the financing say, we need to have this done, even though I made an offer saying, hey, it doesn't need to pass inspections? Do you still need it sometimes for financing?
Very rare is it a financing requirement. Certain types of specialty loans might require that, and it's probably leaning more toward the lead paint if it's a home built in 77 or prior.
We just painted. I added lead to our paint just to be. No, I didn't really. So when it comes down to it, the inspections, is it pretty typical to have an inspection where it's all kind of what you anticipate? Is it kind of rare to have one where you have one, you go, oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but your entire house is made out of, cheese, whatever.
Yeah.
Some probably not that, but where you have some really weird thing that even the homeowner didn't know?
Occasionally you do find that. I remember a house years ago that everything looked absolutely phenomenal, but the home inspector ran his mirror along the top of the main beam of the house and found some significant deterioration there.
Okay.
Much to the surprise of everyone, including the home seller.
Yeah.
So there was an adjustment made for that because clearly this main beam in this house was going to have to be replaced. But it was, not very often you get something shocking like that. Yeah. Most things, like curled shingles, you can see that when you drive up in a heaved driveway.
And who gets to pick the inspector? Is it the person I'm assuming whoever's paying for it, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah.
So 9 out of 10 times it's the buyer. The seller is not present for the inspection. After the inspector has done his or her thing going through the house, then the buyer meets with the inspector and they do a literal walkthrough of the findings. And so they just take them through the different rooms and around the outside and so forth and point out the things. And it's very educational. Nice. I try to hit all of my inspections simply because it's another opportunity to learn something, not just about the house you're selling to your client, but about houses in general. And
absolutely. If somebody listening, and maybe they're in the process of thinking, hey, I want to get my home sold, or maybe I want to go buy a home, if they would like some assistance with that, I encourage them to reach out to Brent. How do they get a hold of you, Brent?
I can be reached at 605-310-0297 or brentbaker@kw.com.
Very nice. You can also find him online at clientsfirstgroup.com. Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help you protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com. Time now for This Day in Sioux Falls History, brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page and Sunny 93.3. It was on this day, March 27th, 1928, that Sioux Falls' first airport officially opens for duty, although flights had been coming and going for quite some time at that point. You might be surprised to hear that we're not talking about the plot of land out north on Minnesota Avenue near Benson Road. That airfield is still years down the road. The one we're talking about is the first airport in Sioux Falls. It was south of town, where the Western Mall currently stands. It was called Sioux Skyways Airport. This field boasted 2 runways. There were sometimes grass and sometimes oil-slicked gravel, a large airplane hangar, a watchtower, and huge flags to aid pilots in recognizing wind direction near the ground. It all started with a promotional tour by Charles Lindbergh. He flew into town on August 27, 1927. This tour, sponsored in part by the Ford Motor Company, was to encourage people to open up to the idea of traveling by flight. It was also to scout out landing strips for upcoming mail flight contracts. Seeing the future outlined in the sky that day, the city of Sioux Falls went to work, and in less than a year, they developed a Grade A airfield capable of handling the biggest airplanes of the day. For years to come, air shows, exhibitions, and a growing aviation business would occupy land on 41st Street between Kiwanis and Western before innovation in the size and speed of airplanes required an even bigger and nicer airport be built. Now we're talking about the Sioux Falls Airport that we all know and love today. This day in Sioux Falls history has been brought to you by Sioux Falls Fun Page and Sunny 93.3.
How much do you pay for your wireless phone? Some people spend hundreds of dollars every month for their family. That's crazy! Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. Not 50, 15, 1-5. Yeah, $15 a month for premium wireless. It's time for a Mintervention from Mint Mobile. You can keep your same phone number. You may even be able to keep your same phone. Find out now at Mintervention.com. Learn more and sign up today at Mintervention.com. Premium wireless for just $15 a month at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, March 27th, 2023. Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets went on a topsy-turvy ride last week due to rising fear of a banking crisis and the FOMC. The FOMC went ahead and hiked another 25 basis points, indicating another hike is on the way. The risk for the market is that PCE data is due out soon and may not give the Fed much choice on the future of interest rates. The S&P 500 closed higher for the week, but showed resistance at the 150-day moving average. This will be another trying week for the market. Investors and traders will be on edge, waiting for the next bank to fail. And there will be little in the way of economic data or earnings to sustain action in the interim. The S&P 500 may be able to move higher on the lack of news, but a sustained rally is far from likely. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com. It's the final week to get signed up for an amazing giveaway from RadioTravelGroup.com.
The Sands is an all-inclusive vacation in Cancun filled with sun, fun, and awesome music.
Pat Benatar, Night Ranger, The Human League,
Dee Snider, Queensryche, and so many more.
We go to this event every single year, and many people say it's the best week ever.
And we want you to join us.
Register for free right now at RadioTravelGroup.com.
The prize is valued at over $4,000.
Register right now at RadioTravelGroup.com.